my dear friends, and welcome back to another Star Wars news update. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the Book of Boba Fett, and we've also got an exciting update for Luke Skywalker because Lucasfilm have connected his story to Thrawn and Ezra Bridger. Before we dive into it, my dear friends, we're almost at 100,000 subscribers. Thank you all so much for your support, and if you're not subscribed, please be sure to do so down below, and also be sure to hit that bell to be alerted every time that I post a new video. But without much further ado, and without any more jibber jabber, let's dive straight into it. So we're going to begin with the Book of Boba Fett because we're only 23 days away from the big premiere. Now, as you're aware, if you've been following my channel over the last few weeks, Ming-Na and Temuera Morrison, the two big stars of the show, have been giving a lot of interviews to do with the series. Temuera Morrison spoke about how the series is going to fill in a lot of gaps in Boba's story, and Ming-Na teased an exploration of the duo's dynamic as a dominant force in the Tatooine underworld. Well, now, my dear friends, we have some new details. Speaking to the Direct, Ming-Na not only reflected on the surprise end credit sequence of The Mandalorian Season 2, but also hinted at mystery surrounding Fennec Shand's past and how we're going to see a lot more of her backstory in the Book of Boba Fett. It was always assumed that The Bad Batch Season 2 is where Fennec Shand's backstory is going to be expanded upon, and to a great extent it still might be. But in this interview she is saying we are going to get answers as to her past in the Book of Boba Fett. And given that the series is going to give us plenty of flashbacks and retrospectives, providing insight into how the two know each other originally and why they work so well together is finally going to be explained. Boba Fett rescued Fennec from near death in The Mandalorian Season 1, and given Boba Fett's Sarlacc incident, both characters know exactly what a near-death experience feels like, but their friendship goes way back, and that is a story many of us want to see. So let's dive into the Direct article and see what Ming-Na had to say to them. By Boba Fett's side throughout the entire series is going to be Fennec Shand, a bounty hunter and mercenary in her own right, who now claims to owe a life debt to her savior. Both were left for dead on the sands of Tatooine and restored to full strength, so it's only natural that they'll be imposing their will on the Dust Bowl of the world. Following the overwhelming conclusion of The Mandalorian Season 2, fans were quick to set aside their emotions as the surprise post-credit sequence took place. The Book of Boba Fett went unannounced during last winter's Disney Investor Day, but Lucasfilm went all in crafting the sequence of Fett's takeover. And of course, as the new series approaches, one of the stars has looked back on that moment's process. Looking back on the scene at Jabba's palace, Ming-Na said, "Oh my gosh, it's amazing. The set designers made sure that everything was based on the original designs. For me, it was also the chimes that were in Jabba's throne. That was amazing. I don't know why those chimes got to me, but the throne itself is spectacular. Plus the fact that I was able to just nonchalantly sit on the arm of the throne and take a swig of blue water." Now, I think it's really interesting that she talks about the chimes and how they got to her. That is what a true Star Wars fan would say, pointing out something banal that holds such nostalgia and that brings such emotions. And as Star Wars fans, we all have those one or two things that seemingly might be small to someone else that mean a lot to us, because they capture the essence and the emotion of that scene or movie. So for her, it was the chimes on Jabba's throne. In my case, whenever I see an ice planet, I instantly think back to Hoth and the first time that I saw Empire as a kid. And it's kind of why I love ice planets so much. The snowy landscape brings back those memories and also makes me reminisce about the magic of Star Wars, what makes it so special. And as I say, we all have those details, those small moments that mean everything. So going back to this interview, Ming-Na says, "The lack of an elegant takeover was intentional, given the background the two characters have. We had so much fun figuring out that last moment when Boba takes the throne and I'm his right-hand person. We wanted to have a little less reverence to it because of us being bounty hunters, so that was all part of John and Dave's creative process." And then Ming-Na teases that we are going to get answers to some of her backstory. Fennec remains as much of an enigma to Wen as she does to the audience. In her own words, she said, "I feel like there's a lot of mystery to her. I created the scar on her face and I don't know how she got it. Who trained her? What was she like when she was young? These are all questions that we'll get answers to." And the great thing about this interview, and also others that we've spoken about this week, specifically to do with Temuera Morrison and Ming-Na is that when they speak about Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, it's very clear about the reverence they have for the Star Wars brand and name. We always give credit to them as Mandalorian fans, but it really is true that those two are really driving the Star Wars brand forward. They just get it, they understand what makes Star Wars magical, and unlike some other producers that we've seen, John and Dave have so much respect for the characters. Just watch the Luke Skywalker special that came out. Jon Favreau is literally in tears when he mentions R2-D2, just because he understands how much that character means to fans and what he means in context of Star Wars. They honor the Star Wars legacy, and that's why I don't have any doubts about The Mandalorian, The Book of Boba Fett, or Star Wars Ahsoka. Robert Rodriguez is the exact same. He's one of the biggest fans of Boba Fett, he understands the character, and as the showrunner, with Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau whispering in his ear as producers, I have no doubt that this show is going to be amazing. And the reason I'm saying this in context of this interview and also what Temuera Morrison said is because of the care they put into the work. The attention to detail is impeccable. We saw that in the end credit scene of The Mandalorian Season 2, and I'm sure we're going to be able to say the exact same for the Book of Boba Fett. So very exciting stuff indeed, and now my dear friends, we're going to move on and talk about Luke Skywalker because Star Wars has revealed a special connection to Ezra Bridger. Given that Ezra and Thrawn are going to be in the Mandalorian universe, most probably in the Ahsoka series first, and given that Luke Skywalker is also part of the Mandalorian story, it makes sense to connect them. So let's see how Star Wars has done this. On a preview shared on the official Star Wars website, it's revealed that Luke Skywalker and R2-D2 traveled to Lothal, Ezra Bridger's home planet, in Marvel Comics Star Wars issue 19. So why is this so important? Well, Lothal has become something of an iconic location in the galaxy far, far away. Introduced in Star Wars Rebels, Lothal is the homeworld of Ezra Bridger, who himself is just a day or two older than Luke. We all had our suspicions that they were trying to connect the two characters when Luke appeared in The Mandalorian Season 2 and following Ahsoka's name drop of Thrawn. Star Wars Rebels put a significant amount of emphasis on Ezra's deep bond with the planet, culminating in the Jedi freeing the citizens of the Empire's grip and going missing with Grand Admiral Thrawn. What makes Luke's visit a real treat for Rebels fans is the nod to the events that transpired in Season 4, although Luke has no idea of what happened. In Star Wars Rebels, multiple times we saw Ezra Bridger and Kanan Jarrus open the Jedi Temple on Lothal, and Luke, in the new issue, attempts to do the exact same thing. Unfortunately for him, that temple may never return. The fact that Star Wars have started doing this in the comics is a sure tale sign that eventually, in the Mandalorian universe, they're going to connect Ezra, Thrawn, and Luke Skywalker. Ahsoka and Sabine are going to search the unknown regions to try and find Ezra with Thrawn after the Chiss and Jedi were blasted into hyperspace in the Rebels finale. But given the almost certainty that Luke is going to appear again in The Mandalorian, he might help Ahsoka in her search, and subsequently meet Grand Admiral Thrawn and Ezra Bridger. Perhaps even more proof that they are trying to do a retelling of Heir to the Empire. A lot to speculate on, but what do you guys think? Do you think there's going to be a connection to Luke and Ezra? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But otherwise, my dear friends, I'm afraid that brings us to the end of this news update. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and a massive welcome if you are. But otherwise, may the Force be with you all. I'm Star Wars Meg, and I'll see you in the next one.